Hello, everybody. Welcome to Horror Buzz. My name is Max Matt, and it is my pleasure to have Kevin Lewis, the director of the animatronic smash hit, Willy's Wonderland. Nice to meet you, Mr. Lewis.
Nice to meet you. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you.
Thanks. So just to get off a start, what's your history? What would you tell us is your history with filmmaking?
I grew up in Denver, Colorado, and I loved movies since I was a little kid. I did Super 8 movies, and I did movies on VHS, and I made a movie in high school called Run, and from that I made another movie called The Real World on VHS, and we were charging admission for it and having parties for it. It was kind of cool because I submitted it to KCNC Channel 4, which is like NBC in Denver, and I won a scholarship for 3 years in a row, actually.
Oh, wow.
And I got that, and I went to USC Film School. I applied to School of the Arts. I got in there, and I was really thinking of going to New York, but I went to SC Film School, and from there I did the Super 8 movies and Super 16 movies, and then I interned for Linda Opes, who did Prince of Tides and Fisher King on the Columbia lot. At that time it was Columbia, not Sony. Mm-hmm. And then I also interned for Rennie Harlan and John McTiernan for their production companies, and learned a lot. And then after college, I wrote and directed my first feature, The Method, starring Sean Patrick Flannery and Robert Forster and Natasha Gregson Wagner. And that went to Slamdance, and that was great. And then from there, I did a movie called Downward Angel with Matt Schultz, who he did Fast and Furious. Actually, I cut a reel for Matt to show Rob Cohen and Universal. He got on Fast Furious and worked with Jonathan Banks on that movie. And from there, I just made films through the years, and it's just so great to do a movie like Willy's Wonderland, just let it all fly, and it's such a fun, just unique kind of project. So
definitely. What ended up drawing you to the script on this particular feature?
So a friend of mine, producer Jeremy Daniel Davis, brought me the script, and it was just great. And I just saw everything, man. I saw vintage, I saw 80s, I saw Evil Dead, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And Sam Raimi is my favorite director. And I just saw I saw it all. I just saw fun, and I just love the character of the janitor. I love these creatures, world building, even on an indie level budget, so it was just great.
Do you have any actually history with this pizza place and mascots like a Chuck E. Cheese or a Showbiz Pizza Bear?
Totally. So growing up in Denver, I was a Showbiz kid, so I had
Nice.
Parties there, and I had. It was so funny. One time, my friend Dean Johnson, when we were young, we were like 6th grade, and he spiked the punch. What he did was he took the Coke and he put chili peppers in the Coke.
Ooh.
And I was trying to figure out how he put that scene in the movie, but I couldn't get it. But Showbiz Pizza was like the thing growing up, and then of course it evolved into Chuck E. Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I got 4 kids. I got 2 teenagers now and 2 little guys that are 5 and 7. And so of course my teenagers, they went to Chuck E. Cheese all the time. They just had a confession with me. My daughter's like, I actually thought he was really creepy, Dad. I'm like, okay. I'm so sorry I scarred your childhood. And my 2 little boys, they actually love it. I'm taking them, and I did reconnaissance, actually, research mission before the movie. And I went to Chuck E. Cheese, and I begged my kids to go because I didn't want to be a pervert and get escorted out by the cops, right? And,
absolutely.
And eat some terrible food. I was like, nah, I'm okay there. But so I've definitely had my time with Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz, and yeah.
So when coming up with the idea for the different animatronics, because with the Showbiz, it's mostly animals. With Chuck E. Cheese, they have animals, but then you kind of have Mr. Munch, you have the Italian. What kind of ideas did you have for the characters?
So in the script, Geo Parsons wrote a great script, and basically what happened was there were different some different creatures. There was like Douglas the dog, and Barry the bear, and Polly the penguin, Pirate Pete, and Regina Rabbit. And so what was cool is when Nick got involved, he wanted to change some things. He loves reptiles and amphibians, and so we changed like Douglas the dog to Artie the alligator, and we got Cammy the chameleon, and things like that. So they evolved, and then Jeremy, actually, the producer, thought about Nighty Night. He's like, kids love knights. I love knights. You know, I love King Arthur and all that. So it was really cool. It was a great collaboration with everybody. You know.
That's really cool. What else were you searching for when looking for that perfect Willy's Wonderland feel to capture kind of the spirit of like those little parlors that would take kids?
Well, that's a really good question. I wanted practical effects on the movie. I knew that you can't really CG these creatures, and we didn't have a budget. We had 20 days to shoot, and so the idea was to build these suits. We couldn't build animatronics, so Ken Hall came on board, and he was the one that built the suits. So there were we have 8 creatures. There were 7 suits, and the 8th is a puppet. That was Ozzy, and he built that too. And he put and the thing that was really important for me were the big eyes and mouth, and for the because that's that's the one that kind of gives you the unsettling feeling, because they blink and the mouth goes. Then they had audio going, and it's not synced up right to the mouth and the eyes.
Yeah,
there's something off, right? So he built these suits, and then he put pulleys in the suits, so the stuntmen and women are in them, and they can move the pulleys, and so the eyes would go and the mouths would go. So that was very important to me to have that feel. And Molly Coffey did the production design, and she did such a fantastic job. And I would always talk about colorful dark, because I knew we had dark subject matter, you know, it's kind of twisted with the kids and turning on its head, but I needed to be colorful. So that was like the whole like pastel look, you know. So, you know, just trying to capture that. And then I love the idea, it's kind of inside joke for me. If you look at the animated Willy and his friends that are on the Pinball Machine and the posters, they look, and they very got a Hanna-Barbera, Woody Woodpecker feel. That's what I wanted, but they look so different, right, from the creatures that are actually built. If you look at the animated Willy compared to Willy the creature, like he's scary, right? But like that, but that's what's great, is that's what's the inside joke, is if you looked at Showbiz and Chuck E. Cheese, it's the same thing. The Chuck E. Cheese cartoon looks nothing like the Chuck E. Cheese animatronic with the big buck teeth and the eyes, right?
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, that was really big for me. Like I wanted to capture that, you know. So
well, you brought up the Pinball Machine. I have to know more about the Pinball Machine.
Yeah. So the Pinball Machine was kind of cool. One of the producers actually had that idea. Originally in the script, it was like an 8-bit video game, right? The retro, old school arcade video game of Willy's. But, you know, on a budget that we had and time, there was no way we were going to be able to build that. So we did the Pinball Machine. And Molly Coffey and got one of her guys to build it. And you can go, I think, on her Twitter. She has a bunch of talks about it. And she shows kind of the progression of the Pinball Machine. So it's really cool. And they built it from scratch, man. I mean, it's amazing what they did. You know, that machine's incredible. That was just great. And Nick, I'm telling you, that scene, it was all Nick. Like he was pulling prints and all kinds of stuff. But I just let the cameras roll, and he had fun with it. And man, after that, everybody clapped and everybody was excited. The crew was like amazed. It was just great. And I told him that night, man, you know, that's the reason. You're the reason I make movies, something like that. Because it's just magical. You just knew it. You know.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Nick Cage, because he's a little bit more quiet in the film. What was it like working with him?
Just a little quiet, right?
Just a little bit.
So he's a fantastic. I mean, I'll say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again, man. It's like Nick to me has like 3 things. One, we know he's an amazing actor, Academy Award winner. That's like done. He's a genre to himself, right? Nick, for me, acting like Nick can do no wrong, right? I mean, how many great movies has Nick done, right? Number 2, he was an amazing partner on to make a movie with. You know, he and his manager are producers of this movie, and they really helped us get it made. And couldn't pick a better guy to go into battle with in terms of making a movie. Number 3, he's just a really great human being. You know, I just believe in energy, and he has fantastic energy, and he's just a good person. So we didn't get in one creative disagreement on this movie. We saw eye to eye. We had a blast making it. It was just awesome. He spoiled me.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. How was he for the cleaning segments? Because I was laughing because I actually saw it in my car at DriveIn. And
oh, cool. Yeah, we played on a drive-in last night here, the Frida Cinema, and I spoke a little bit. It was really cool. I got to speak a little bit about it, and the cars were honking, and and the lights flashing, and that's so cool. You saw in the drive-in.
Oh yeah, I actually saw it the same one, the earlier showing where the writer was at.
Oh yeah, okay, that was the first one. That was when Gio was there.
Oh
Very
yeah,
cool. Oh, that's great. Oh,
I
great.
know it was a wonderful experience, but I was laughing in my car at like all the scenes of Nick cleaning. So how long were those actual scenes? Because they were time lapsed.
It's so funny you say that. So I was so obsessed with the cleaning. So I was like, I don't know if I have any more footage of cleaning. I need more cleaning. And so yeah, I'd always be like, if we had a little bit of time and we were lit, it's like throw the trash bag. It was so funny, like with him putting Ozzy and all the parts of the creature in the trash bag. It was like we had props on the side. They were just flying the trash bags in. He'd grab it, did it, boom, done. Next one, did it, done, you know. And it was like, okay, well, wipe this over here. Okay, we're lit over here. Okay, I mean, it was just crazy, you know. So, but it was awesome. Nick was game for it all. So.
Oh, that's too good.
Yeah.
And when it came down to it, was it in the script as part of like the soda break montages, or was that kind of a Nick idea?
No, that was in the script.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I think the script, it was a diet root beer he did. And of course, we're trying to get product placement to help, you know, finance. Of course, you always do that. But I was always hoping we would be able to create our own. And we did. And I'm really happy with that. That just helped to me, the tone and the feel of everything, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, it has a world onto its own, with it almost feeling like a video game aspect with how the breaks happen, with him changing his shirts.
Exactly.
Speaking of the budget and the time constraints, was there anything that you had planned for the script that just ended up not making it? Any ideas that lost along the way?
Well, you know what was cool? So I'm a big fan of prep, and I knew this movie had to be a precise. And what I meant by that is I had a vision for it, and I wanted to be very visual. And so I was like, okay, this isn't a movie where you come in and just, what are we feeling today, guys? Okay, you come over here. So before shooting, I wrote a 70-page shot list, and it had every shot detailed from scene to scene. And I got to tell you, I walked out of that probably about 85% with the shot list.
Oh wow!
You know, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So.
I know the way it's visually filmed, you can tell a lot of prep went into it, because there's no giveaway shots. They're all very meticulous.
Yeah, it was never about, well, we're going to do this full on master, right? Like, let's do a master. We'll have everybody. I rarely did that. It was always precise on how we're going to do, because I didn't have a lot of footage. I could only do 2 to 3 takes. And I remember telling Nick, I can only do 2 to 3 takes. I'm sorry. And he said, well, Kevin, I like to get it in 1. I'm like, well, that's great for me. So, you know, we did that. We got maybe 2, 3 at max. So the idea was to shoot the cut. So I really cut this movie when I worked the shot list and I was shooting it, because I just didn't have extra footage. You know, in 20 days on a movie like this, you just don't. So.
Yeah, well, the effort definitely shows in the film.
Great.
Did you have a favorite animatronic?
Oh man, you know, it's funny. Like I said, I have 4 kids, and to me, they're all my kids, man. They're all my children, those animatronics. I mean, I just love them all. They're all different things, and they're unique and stuff. But if I had to pick, I'd go with Willy, because he's just the big boss, you know.
Oh yeah, the way the scale that you were able to get on him was pretty impressive.
Oh man, I remember the first time he showed up. Ken showed up with the suits, and Willy was walking around the sound stage, and it's like, wow, this is really happening. This is cool, you know.
Did you have a favorite scene in the movie?
Yes, my favorite scene is, and it was scripted differently, was the Nighty Night scene when he chops off his head, and it's the Jenner theme, and it's like epic. You know, Emwa did the score, and he did the voice of Willy. He did such a fantastic job, and it's just that epic dong dong dong, you know, and he looks over at Liv, and she's looking at him, and he's got the black gunk on his face. To me, that represents so much, because you just know, like, she's in the cage with Cage, right? You know, and these, you know, this is not to be messed with these creatures, and like, you know, it's just, to me, that they said so much with those looks. And in the script, I remember it was like, well, let me help you clean up, and she's like helping him clean up, and so I was there. It was like midnight on a Thursday, I believe, and I was like, you know what? no dialogue, 2 zooms, zoom onto him, zoom onto her, we got it. And it was magic then. I remember shooting it and looking when it was there with camera and just looking at it, and I'm like, this is gold. I was so excited, I couldn't even sleep that night. It was like, I was like, this is great. So it just turned out really good, you know?
Oh yeah, no, like I said, at the end of the day, like the whole audience I was with was cheering. I had a wonderful time. It was just fun. At the end of the day, this movie's fun.
Exactly, and that's what we made the movie for. With the pandemic and what's going on with COVID and everything, like people just need to go and have a good time with this movie, you know, and just have 90 minutes of just a vacation of their life and just enjoy it, like a lot of the movies of the 80s did, right? Just have fun, you know, and that's why we made the movie. And the cast and crew had fun, you know. Every day they showed up to set with a smile on their face, and they left that evening with a smile on their face. And I feel like it shows in the movie, you know, so that's great. I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Did you have any plans for kind of a sequel? Because I like the idea of Nick Cage and her going off on another, getting pulled into like another Scooby-Doo-esque adventure.
Oh, that's cool. It's so funny you said Scooby-Doo, because I would always refer to her friends as like the mystery gang, you know, Scooby-Doo. Yeah, you know, what's cool is there's a lot of fans that are loving this movie, and they're asking all the time, is there a sequel? So we've been batting some ideas around, and we'll see. I mean, if the demand's out there, and hopefully Nick will want to do it, you know, I mean, that would be just amazing. So yeah, I'd love to make a sequel. There's definitely more adventures with the janitor, for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he seems like the kind of character that rolls into another mystery somewhere.
Totally, yeah.
Well, any next projects coming up that you want to talk about?
I'm working on a really cool like Halloween project. It's like a throwback to the Amblin days. It's really cool. And then I've got like an action horror script that's really good too, that we're finessing here. Those are the things I've got a couple other things in the hopper. So I'm pretty excited. I want to make movies like Willy's. I want to have fun. You know, when I saw my 2 teens having a watch party of 30 people that night, you know, and just them enjoying it and having a great time, those movies I want to make, you know, so.
Oh yeah, no, that was one of the things I said about Willy's, was this is the kind of perfect party movie where, you know, you have your friends with the snacks, everyone's getting the food together, and, you know, Nick Cage is just decimating some animatronics in the background.
For sure, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, Kevin, for doing the interview. I really appreciate it. This has been a pleasure, and Willy's Wonderland is a blast.
Thank you so much. You have a great weekend, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay,
see you.
Bye-bye.